Recording intended.
Okay, hello. So before I share strategic tool number 3 with you, I want to talk to you about our habit loop. So how our habits are created and how we move through them, what makes our actions a habit, what creates a habit. So I'm going to walk you through this. So the first piece is we have a cue. We have something that either we see, we feel, we hear that cues us like, oh, it's time for the thing. It's time for the habit. Okay, so we have a cue. And what happens when we receive that cue is that it creates a craving. Now, this, as you can probably imagine, could be good or bad. If it's a healthy habit, then it's cueing a good craving. If it's not so healthy, then the craving is a little more negative. But either way, we receive a craving after we get the cue. So we have our cue, then we have a craving, and then we have our response. So what action we choose to take once we have the cue and the craving. After we take the action is when we receive the reward. Okay, so essentially the whole habit loop, what we're looking for is a reward. That's why we have habits, because we get something out of it. Now, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. The point is you get a reward. Okay, so let me give you like a real-time example of this. So you wake up in the morning and you're groggy. Cue. Okay, you just woke up, you're tired, you need a little pick-me-up. So you get the craving for coffee because you have coffee every single morning. It's how you start your morning every single day. So the cue was that we woke up and we felt tired. The craving is, oh, coffee would help with this, right? So the response is to go and make the coffee. And then the reward is when we actually consume the coffee and then we feel energized. We have more energy from that little hit of caffeine, right? So this is a very small example, but okay, let's say we don't want to have coffee anymore. Let's say we're trying to give up caffeine completely. So we wake up in the morning and we get that cue. So of course, the first day one that you're trying to quit coffee, you're going to wake up and you're going to get the cue. Oh my gosh, I'm just waking up and I'm tired. And then following that, you're going to get the craving. Well, coffee is what wakes me up. That warm cup in my hand, I love it. You know, it's part of your routine. It's a habit. So we have a choice. Now, here comes the response. So how are we going to respond to this craving? So maybe instead of having a cup of coffee, we're going to replace this routine with having hot water with lemon, because we've heard there's a lot of health benefits to that. It's still a nice warm cup in our hands. We don't have to give up the ritual completely, but we just don't want the caffeine associated with it anymore. So we decide to move to hot water with lemon. Okay, so that is our response. And the reward for that is that we made a decision that supported our goals. That's a reward. Feeling good, feeling content, feeling satisfied is a reward. Plus, you're going to experience whatever benefits come along with drinking that hot water with lemon. So does that make sense? So I'm going to tie this into strategic tool number 3, which is make it hard or make it easy. So if you are trying to implement a new habit, how can you make it easy on yourself? How can you plan ahead? And this is why habit stacking is so effective, because you're setting yourself up in advance. But when you get the cue and then the craving, how can you make it really easy for your response? So if you're trying to eat healthy, and you know that you always crave dessert after you eat a meal, how can you prepare for that moment? So the cue is you ate dinner, right? And now the craving is you want something sweet. So the response could be that you have prepared a banana ice cream, like no ice cream involved, just bananas, a frozen little treat. And you have made this in advance because you know that you always get this craving. So that is making your new habit easy. And the reward is that you get something sweet, but also you just implemented a new habit and it felt easy because you made it that way, because you prepared for it. Okay, so on the opposite end of that, make it hard. So if you're trying to get rid of a habit, if something that you're doing isn't serving you anymore, or you're like, it's just autopilot that I just do this. Like, let's say you have a glass of wine every night when you get home from work and you just don't want to do that anymore. It's just not your thing anymore. You think that it disrupts your sleep, you feel dehydrated, whatever. So you're going to give up this glass of wine that you have every night. Okay, great. So rather than having a box of wine on your counter or a cabinet full of wine, of all your favorite delicious wine, maybe make it a little bit harder by removing those things from your house, by not having them so readily available. If you're trying to eat healthier, don't have unhealthy food at your disposal. When you open up your pantry, don't have it be stocked with Twinkies and whatever else, Flaming Hot Cheetos. Make it harder on yourself. Make yourself make a conscious decision, like, because you get cued for whatever, it's that time of day, or you had a stressful day at work. You get the cue, you get the craving. Okay, well, now do you have to go all the way out of your way and go to the store to get whatever it is that you want? That is a lot harder and kind of stops us in our tracks and makes us really process, like, is this something that I want to do? Whereas if it were just right there, if we just opened up our pantry and there's just like junk food galore, or we open up our liquor cabinet and there's our favorite wine, like, then of course the thought process almost escapes us, because then we're just going back into like autopilot, like, this is just what I do. Like, we're like zombies. Like, I just got home from work, I had a stressful day, so now of course I'm going to reach for this. So make it hard or make it easy, and get clear on the cues and get clear on your cravings. And as far as the reward goes, sometimes the reward is giving ourselves the things that we want. Sometimes the reward is choosing not to cave into those cravings, because that makes us feel good. We feel accomplished. We gain trust in ourselves, and we just gain this confidence that we can do this. We can eliminate this thing from our lives because it's no longer serving us. So if there's a habit that you don't like, how can you make it hard?